These joints right here, man.
Are boo-boo.
These are hella trash. Like literally, they made out of trash. What's good, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look at these bad boys right here. This, my friends, is the VaporMax 2020. Not a year to remember. Actually, it's a year we'll never forget. But these things right here are quite literally trash, and I think that that's very, very cool, very interesting. This is the box that they come in. It lets you know, like right from the jump, Move to Zero is Nike's journey towards zero carbon and zero waste to help protect the future of sport. It should just be to protect the world, you know what I mean? But you know, they got to be slick with it. And then they also let you know that at least 50% of the product is recycled materials, which is dope as well. But anyways, this is the VaporMax 2020. This shoe is quite literally trash. That's what they're saying. I think they're interesting. I don't like them. I would never wear this. It looks super funny. It looks like a cleat still, like a soccer boot or a football boot, if you will. But yeah, it's still like really interesting. I can appreciate everything that went into this shoe, and that is exactly why we're gonna talk about them. Fun fact though, is that somebody that was involved in these, I didn't even know, but I know him personally. I've known him for a very long time. What are you smirking about?
Nothing.
What's so funny?
I forgot you knew the guy, and I just flat out said they're ugly.
That they're boo-boo? Hey, that was your words, not mine. But no, this guy though, you do like one of his shoes, one of his more recent shoes, which was the React 270.
Okay.
So you wear those quite often. He was involved in that. But he was involved in these, I had no idea. I was actually watching the promo footage for this that's over on like the Nike app and Nike.com and all that stuff, and all of a sudden he was there, and I was like, what the I didn't even know. The coolest part is where he started in the company. This is where I met him. I went to Portland a long ass time ago for something. I think it was for like a football event.
I was gonna say, was that when you got those football training shoes?
I think it was for football. And I had like a day like in between, like the day that I got there was like super early and the event wasn't until the next day. So I had all day to do like nothing. I met up with Hess Kicks and we went to the HQ or whatever, and we walked around, and then a couple of people found out that we were there, and they invited me to the rooms, which you're not allowed to go into anymore. They're like heavy security nowadays because of the whole PE scandal. You can Google that if you need to know more information. It was kind of trippy actually. But anyways, he used to work at Nike Basketball, I don't know what to call it, but the budget shoe side. So not the signature building, but it was the other building where they would do all of the lesser known products. The KB shoes, the Kobe Mentalities, the Fury, stuff like that. Like those are the shoes that he would work on, and it was like really dope. He was in charge of like the Dual Fusion shoe that I really liked. So that guy was involved in this. I just think it's really cool that that's where he started. He started on the low level, and now he's up here making like some of their signature stuff, because this is like their signature for like running and stuff. Why do you make the face with no words? There's no context there. You know what I mean? You just make the, like, what's this full target? No.
I don't see anybody running those.
I don't care.
Ever.
Don't care.
Okay.
This is some of Nike's flagship stuff for their running category. The VaporMax, like they took off with that last season. Or maybe it was 2 seasons ago. Maybe it was longer than that.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, it has been a few years actually. That's weird. They've been running with that VaporMax tooling for a minute.
And I don't understand.
The VaporMax tooling?
Yes.
Okay, well, we're gonna talk about that right now. First off, it was reworked, okay? So different design, different stack height too. They lowered the hell out of this. I like this a lot. I like this way more. The way that it's all implemented is super weird though. It's all one piece. You can see the strobe right behind there. I think it's weird that they didn't try to hide that. Normally Nike does. They didn't put any kind of like tinted glue or anything on there. It's also really cool that the glue that they did use is so clear. It's not brown or anything. It's like super weird. But yeah, you can see everything underneath there. So you can see exactly how these guys were made. I just really like that. All of these colored pieces are actual rubber. The rest of it is, I don't want to say rubberized, but it's just part of the air unit. So this guy right there, like how you can see those little tread marks, that's part of the molding of the air unit, whereas these were glued on there.
Oh, it's just like thicker there?
Like this is actual rubber. This
no,
is
I'm
plastic.
talking about the tread marks that are not glued on.
I don't know if they're thicker.
Because I mean, it's a part of the air bubble, so I would think that if it wasn't thicker there, it would pop. No? So
that's not air, that's extra plastic. So the air starts after that, the chamber.
Yeah, so it's like thicker, is what I'm saying.
I guess, I'm confused, man. What do you mean thicker?
It's just thicker. I don't even know how to tell you if you don't get it. So you're putting the molding together. It's thicker, it's poured in thicker there.
I suppose, yes. It's additional plastic.
Yes, because it's thicker.
Sure. Sure, it's so much thicker here. It's so thick.
With 2 C's.
2 Ks. Moving on. Now, one of the things about the last VaporMax model, the original model, that I actually got wrong was that they were connected. The air units were connected. I thought they were individualized chambers. They're not. They were connected, so I apologize about that. I know that that's a very long wait to retract something, but I mean, better late than never, right?
That's what she said.
But anyways, these guys right here are connected, so this is the start and goes like this, right? And then it tubes through there, goes all the way to the next one, tubes here, pretty slick. And then the tubing that connects this to this is actually right there. So the middle chamber, you can barely see it, super thin. I don't know if the, you know, like a DMX from Reebok, how it's an air transfer. I don't think it's necessarily for that. I think it's just to even out air pressure. That is pretty much the new tooling. Same exact concept, just different design, smaller or thinner stack height, so you have less of that weird bubbly look. I think that this looks way cleaner. There's also no midsole here, which is very interesting. This is attached directly to the upper. The entire tooling setup is just all this. From outsole to midsole to cushion, all one piece. No, except for those. And those are clearly recycled, at least they want you to think that. I don't know if it is. I assume that it is, not just colored dots. Now the upper on these guys is just like the original, so it's all Flyknit everything. The difference being is that a lot of this stuff is made out of recycled plastic. The yarn here is made out of recycled TPUs. We're at a point now in the world where you can make apparel and material out of plastics like the Parlay, Adidas stuff and things like that, and you would never know unless they told you. They didn't heat up any of the yarns, by the way. It's all nice and stretchy Flyknit. It doesn't feel plasticky whatsoever. It's not what I would consider Kobe 9 Flyknit or anything like that. This is like genuine, nice sock shoe Flyknit. You also have a separate tongue, almost. It's connected at the bottom, but still almost separate. I really like the heel design. It's got a weird internal piece. So this little pillow right here is sewn onto the sock outside, and then it dips down in there, and it just cups that area a little bit nicer than the original model did. The original model was TPU fuse, almost looked like with that purple stuff that you see trimmed around there, attached to the Flyknit itself, so it kind of made everything firm and not super comfortable, you know what I mean? This one right here, I think is just a way nicer design. This is actually like, is it VaporMax Plus? Is that the one that I like with the tuned air upper? I don't know why, man, but that looks cool. I like that shoe, and I don't like VaporMax. I hope that we see something like that with this bottom, because I like this bottom a lot better. But yeah, even the insole looks like it was recycled, it's even on the liner. So this is an open cell foam. It's basically ortholite. Gives you a little bit of stepping comfort and all that stuff. The Strobel is just felt feeling, but you can also see that there's a nylon Strobel underneath, so it's dual layered. And then probably the biggest selling feature besides the recycled aspect and the new VaporMax tooling is the fact that the lacing system is not lacing, or it's, what do you call this again? FastFit, right? FF, that's right. So yeah, it's that FastFit lacing system. I really like the way that this looks. I think it looks really cool. I just don't like the design of the whole thing together. Like I'm not a huge fan of these like slim sock shoes. I like some bulk, some bubble. But yeah, I like the way that this heel counter looks. Everything, man, it looks super cool. Oh, that's why that's there. It's because it hides all of this stuff. So they almost had to put it in there. But it made it a better design, I think. You pull this. Did you see that suck down? Let's do it one more time just in case people didn't see it. And then it's got the little release valve right there, or a release tab. This is the part where I can't tell if it's releasing because there's no click. It's just a little bit different than basketball products that I'm used to, the Kobe FastFit and the Jordan 33. Those, when you pulled the eject cord, it had a snapping sound, so you can tell that it was releasing. This one, I can't. I don't want to break it. That's the other thing too, is this little top piece right there that you can kind of like, you know what I mean? And this little guy will push it up too, so I don't want to break that off. I hope that that's not the only thing housing the cables underneath. Oh no, there's another piece in there. So even if that breaks off, you shouldn't unravel your laces, but I still wouldn't want to break that off. Now, as far as fit is concerned, go true to size. They fit just like the original VaporMax, so whatever size you did wear in that, that's what I would go with. Me personally, again, I went true to size. They fit perfect.
You win perfect.
As far as the way that the VaporMax feels, this is the thing that I'm not a huge fan of it. I just don't think it's that comfortable. Even if you break it in, it only goes so far because it's plastic, you know what I mean? So you can only break in plastic until it either breaks or until it's a little bit more malleable, and usually that's when it warms up. So obviously the longer that you wear these throughout the day, there's heat, your foot, like the ground's hot and all that, it'll feel a little bit more comfortable the longer that you wear it, but I still don't think it's like Zoom Air, you know what I mean? Zoom Air is mad comfy. Air Max like this, it's just kind of like, it is what it is. performance. Now, to your credit, they did not market this the way that they marketed the original VaporMax. The original VaporMax was marketed as a running shoe.
Okay.
Which is why I say it's their flagship. You know what I mean? Even though now they have their 4% and their Vaporflies and whatever the hell else is there, this was still at the time what they thought was like the next big thing for running, and it totally wasn't. So this time around they did it a little bit smarter. There was no mention of anything that I read or saw that said this is a performance runner, even though I'm sure that it can be done. I just think that they have better things out now.
Oh, totally.
You know
That's
what I
why
mean?
I was confused when you said that. I was like, Nike has so many runners.
No, I know, but at the time when the VaporMax first dropped, they were like, oh, this is the next evolution of air and running and this, that, and the other and all that stuff, and it was awful. It was so bad to run in. Like, I was like, this sucks, and I don't like it. And a lot of people did not like that I said that. Like, a lot of people.
Yesterday when you had gotten them, I had said like, oh, that reminds me of when we take the kids to the pond, all that gross scum that you get in the corners. But it also reminds me of on Netflix, what's that show called?
Explained?
Explained. They have a
okay.
whole plastic episode. They're only 20 minutes. Go do it. But anyways, there's all this talk about how we have so much garbage going into our water systems that
Yes.
we actually consume so many pieces. And it just looks like what we're ingesting.
It's what we've done to the planet is quite gross, and I think that it's great that brands are trying, you know what I mean? The problem is that it's not profitable usually, and so we don't see this often. So you'll see one of these every once in a while. You'll see a Adidas and Parlay for the ocean or whatever every once in a while, but you don't see this regularly because it's not profitable. It's very expensive to do this with the garbage, and even then, to take the garbage and then convert it into something that's reusable is also emitting carbons into the, you know what I'm saying? So it's equally as bad in some cases. And so it's like, where do you stop? Where do you start? It's just one of those things where it's like, hey, at least it's in the minds of the people that are creating this type of waste, especially like a footwear brand, because you know how many products that they put out? That's a lot of product. That's a lot of emissions. So one of the things that they could do instead of making a product like this, reusing, because they could still make this out of all the products that they discard or all the items that they discard from all the previous products that they make, right? But what they could be doing, what they should be doing is cutting down the amount of product that they create, because in doing so, you're creating less garbage. Think about how much product Nike pumps. Just think about it. There's hundreds, and we're just talking about a single category, hundreds of products made. And I'm, again, single category. So I'm not talking about Nike as a brand, I'm talking about running. And we're not just considering footwear, we're talking about their waste as far as apparel goes too. Hundreds of products. Then you talk about basketball, hundreds of products. Kids footwear, hundreds of products. Slim that down a little bit. The way that they cut jobs when the economy drops, cut product lines like that.
Well, and that's the thing. I can see why. Like, I think it's cool that there's somebody in Nike HQ who is like, hey, the environment sucks. I want to save it. And so they come up with this. But it's also all those people just trying to save their jobs and be like, look, I am valuable. So
I guess that's what I'm trying to say is by trying to be part of the solution, the only reason why you've gotten to this point is because you're also part of the problem. Like, we're included. I'm not trying to act like I'm above anything else. I'm just discussing with dialogue, because that's how people...
with words.
Yeah, that's how that's how people discuss, debate, and then they come up with a solution, like something like this, like, hey, somebody in Nike saw what they're doing. I mean, like, instead of throwing all this extra stuff out, can we reuse this in some way? Think about it, man. Think about it. But anyways, that pretty much takes care of it for these guys. Again, this is the Nike VaporMax 2020. Very interesting shoe, very interesting concept. Any thoughts to leave off with? Well, damn. Couldn't even say no? Just a silent, This is like Penn and Teller? Is that what it is?
No.
No?
I do have a funny story.
Go for it.
Okay.
Story time with Mrs. Wing.
He was trying these on yesterday and like walking around the house.
Hold on.
and being like,
Time out. This is a funny story about me?
Yes.
Oh man, I don't know if you should tell this.
And if you if you feel like just going down the rabbit hole, you should check out the first Adapt shoes. Our son got a hold of his phone while he was on the court and started tightening them. Our son strikes again yesterday because Chris is walking around and this kid like army crawls behind and just wrenches on these as hard as he could. Just hearing his little evil laughter brings me such joy.
His little mischievous
Yes.
side where he's like, dude, I'm gonna prank my dad so good. Good story.
Thanks.
Now with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your support. Leave your thoughts down below on these guys. Let us know your thoughts on the whole topic as well. Like, is this just part of the problem? If they didn't create the problem, there needed to be a solution for it. And again, we're all part of the problem because we all live here together. We're not perfect. I know that we create plenty of waste, even though we try not to, but so let us know down below. And until next time, guys, have a good one.